Watch Pete and I turn this into this in 4 short days on Bench Dogs. Join us. This music warehouse in Southern California has expanded into a new building, and we're going to build and install 40 record racks to house the overflow. Each rack will be the size of a sheet of plywood and will hold 2,500 albums when fully loaded. We were also charged with creating the layout of the warehouse, how the racks were organized. We laid out the floor plan to place product alphabetically, with room for expansion, and to maximize space without compromising the feeling of openness. Not only are we making and installing these racks, we're doing it at the same time and in the same place as the 200,000 plus piece inventory which is going to be delivered the next day. Or now.
Jesus Christ! Did you videotape that? Oh, I hope you have.
So what are the calculations you're trying to figure out here?
I am trying to determine the optimal placement of the racks and a wide enough aisle so that we have the widest aisles that we can get and still have all the things that we need. My brain's exploding. And what we're doing here in this warehouse is building a mother load of shelving.
First, we tried building each one by hand. But with me cutting all the pieces out of sheets of plywood, and with Pete doing all the assembly, we could only get 1 or 2 done a day.
Don't cut all your shelves 37.5. Actually, it's okay if you do. Okay, so you know they say measure twice, cut once. Well, I prefer to measure twice, cut twice, measure again, then cut 2 more times and get it right.
Yeah, we needed a different solution, and fast. So, disappointed but not discouraged, we cleaned up for the day, went home, and came up with a new plan for the next day.
Why a jig? Why invest the time? If you're going to build 1 or 2 of something, you don't need to. You take the time, you do it by hand. But when you're doing 40 of them, which is what we're doing, 1 or 2 at a time is it's not practical. It takes us 2.5 hours to put together one by hand and about 30 minutes on this jig. So that's the reason for it. It's worth the. I took about 2 hours building it. Definitely worth that time and save us many, many hours down the road. This is our shelf making apparatus.
Oh.
We start with the bottom and we place it in here. And we take a couple of sides and we place them here and here. You see they have stops right here. You know it lines up at the bottom here. Now we're going to nail it. We're not too concerned about the way it looks, just about the way it functions. We line up these pieces of wood together and throw in a nail. Same thing over here. Okay, now with the frame built, the 5 shelves on the inside are ready to be dropped into place. There are little slots where they can fit. There we go. Well, you can see all of the shelves are in place, but they're all loose. So we just need to make sure these guys are level. And with that, we use our fancy dancy story pole. It fits on the outside edge, like that. And what we want to do is press each one of these down till the wood stops and throw a nail in. The problem that we found when assembling these with screws is that if you were a little bit off in any direction, it would come through the side. So we made a tool to do that, which works very simply. Slides down there, it moves over. The key is that this guy is a little bit off, 3/8 of an inch from that guy. And when it rests against the shelf itself, this guy is exactly 3/8 of an inch inside. And if you drive that screw in straight, you will not get a split. Now watch us get a split. Peter wanted me to show you what happens when we screw up, but I don't want to screw up. I don't want to have any holes in there. Take this out of the way. I look straight down. What do you think? Split outs? Looks very clean. Ah, that's what we like to see. Right, so we've got all the shelves in place, nice and tight. So any places where they're high, and this is the only spot that I can see right here, we're just going to plane it down with the fancy dancy hand plane, power plane. We have to pull it out of here and set it on some blocks so it'll roll out when we're done. And we do that with great difficulty. And we use a couple of 1x2s as skids. And we're ready for the back. Notice as the cameraman deftly helps put this up, because I didn't do that myself. Its back is up there, and we're going to square this fella and go evenly across the top. We just pull it until it's not gappy. You can see how easy it is to move it and make it square. All right, now you've got a 90-degree angle. Okay, to take the bow out of this this back, we're going to go down the line and put a screw in the center of each shelf. That was a miss. You can see what the problem was. But the bottom is a little too long, as you can see underneath. So. This rack is done! All we have to do is get it down. Ta-da! One upside down rack.
And now it's Peter's turn. Let's see how he does.
Bruce isn't around, he's yelling at me, telling me I'm doing it wrong. Brilliant, sir.